Hello, people. Welcome to Roots of Unity. I am Mrinmoy, and today we will be talking about roots of polynomial equation. Before we dive deep into the topic, let us start by discussing some core concepts. What is a polynomial? Well, a polynomial is an algebraic expression made of one or more variables and the sums of terms involving non-integer power of the variables. The key thing to remember here is non-negative integer power of the variables. In this example, a square plus b square plus c square, we see more than one variable, that is a three-variable ABC, and all of them are raised to the power of 2. So it fits the criteria of non-negative integer power. Next, we have x squared plus 2xy plus 3. So the first part, x squared plus 2xy, obviously meets the criteria of positive integer power. What about 3? Well, we can imagine that with 3, we have x or y to the power 0. And 0 is a non-negative number, and therefore, this is also a polynomial. Then, we have x to the power half. This cannot be a part of polynomial equation as the power is not an integer. Half is a fraction. Therefore, this is not a polynomial. Then we have x to the power minus 2. Because minus 2 is also a negative number, this can't be a part of the polynomial as well. So among these three expressions, the first two are polynomials while the last is not. Now, what are roots? The roots of a polynomial are the solution of the polynomials. In other words, if you have a polynomial fx, the roots are the values of x that will lead to the fx becoming 0. Now, let's start with quadratics, one of the simplest kind of polynomials. It is a polynomial where the highest power of x is 2. Therefore, every quadratic equation can be written in this general format: ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. We know the number of roots of an equation corresponds with the highest power of its variable. So, we know every quadratic equation also has two roots. Let's say in general these roots are alpha and beta. So, we can write the equation in this way: expand it and then rewrite it. Now we have almost reached the format of ax squared plus bx plus c. However, it will be easier for us if we divide this equation by a and rewrite ax squared plus bx plus c as x squared plus b by ax plus c by a. And now it would be easier for us to treat this as identities and equate them. Here, after comparing the values, we have alpha plus beta equals to minus b by a, which means the summation of the roots alpha plus beta is equals to minus b by a. We also have alpha into beta equals to c by a. Therefore, c by a represents the product of the two roots. This knowledge may look simple, but this will simplify a lot of equations and calculations in future. Before we go into them, let's start by rethinking something that we already know: the middle term break or factorization method of finding roots. In this example, x squared plus 4x minus 12, what would we do to find the roots? Through the middle term method. We will try to factorize minus 12 in a way so that the sum of the factors will give us 4. And after thinking a bit in the head, we get that 6 and 2 gives us exactly that. So let's break the middle term and rearrange this. Let's take x minus x common and split the 12 into its factors. Now, doesn't it look familiar to this form on the left? Exactly. All these years when we were doing middle term break, we were breaking the middle term to get to this format. From now on, just by looking at the given quadratic equation and knowing this, we can compare and conclude the roots of the equations. And in this case, the roots are 2 and minus 6. Isn't it amazing? Now let's see how else we can use this information. What if we can find the sum of the squares of the roots of any quadratic equation even without knowing its roots? Well, we know the value of alpha plus beta, and we know if we square it, we will get alpha square plus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. Here, we already have what we're looking for, and we can know the value of the rest of the terms too. So we can easily find the value of the sum and the root squares by using this formula. This we can write more simply by using the sigma notation. This is another use of the sigma notation. Here we don't have any index, right? We don't have a starting value of r equals to 1 or anything like that. We don't have an ending value of n or anything like that. Here we're denoting a cyclic function by putting the first term of the function inside the sigma. So instead of writing the entire cyclic function x plus y plus z, we can just write as sigma x. Similarly, sigma xy denotes xy plus yz plus zx. Here we're assuming we only have 3 variables x, y, and z, right? So we are stopping there and we are not adding xy again, as that only restarts the cycle, and inside the sigma notation we only add up to one cycle. We don't repeat the cycle. So here's another example, sigma xyz. This denotes xyz only if the only variables we have are xyz. Notice that there's no plus yzx or zxy beside this, because that is just another way of writing xyz. We would be repeating the cycle if we did that, so therefore we won't do that. Now back to where we were. We can use similar methods to find the sum of the cubes of the roots. We cube the alpha plus beta, and there we try to make alpha cube and beta cube the subjects. And soon we derive this formula, where we can just again put the numbers of minus b by a and c by a to get the result. For a quadratic equation, we can also find the summation of 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. In this way, by simply dividing the summation of the roots by the product of the roots. Now let's look at a problem together to clarify our concepts again. We have a quadratic equation 2x squared plus 16x plus b equals to 0, and it is given that the sum of the squares of the roots is 34. And our aim is to find the sum of the root cubes. Now, what else do we know? We know that minus b by a equals to 8 is also the summation of the roots, alpha and beta. And we know their product is c by 2, which is also equals to p by 2. It's time to bring all this information together. We can write the formula of the sum of the root squares and equate it to 34. Then replace the variables with their values and find the value of p. And here we have p equals to 30. Now we can also reduce the product of the roots to be 15. From here, we could simultaneously solve these two equations and get the value of alpha, beta and cube them. Spoiler alert, if you're going that way, the roots will be 3 and 5. However, we can also use a new formula that we had just derived. And we put in all the values and voila! We have the value of the sum of the cubes, which is 152. Hopefully things are clear regarding roots of quadratic polynomials. If you have any further questions, please write them down in the comment section below. We'll try our level best to get back to you. Thank you for watching this video. In my next video, we will meet with the roots of polynomials of higher powers. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, and stay with Roots of Unity. Thank you.